Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am a little bit hectic because I didn't expect the doctors to take that long.
Oh no.
I had an appointment at 7:45 this morning, which should have been plenty of time, but it's snowing like crazy here.
We got some too.
Yeah, I think it threw their office really late because when I got there, there was literally only one car in the parking lot, which means there were no doctors there. And um, and it was like deserted, just me and like the front desk person and one other client, and it still took them like 25 minutes to even call me back. And anyway, so I just kept thinking, okay, can I make it? Can I make it? Yeah. Anyway, so how are you doing today?
Good. Much better than last week.
Good, good. Tell me about how the progress on that's going.
um,
Have you felt better? Were you able to kind of deal with that guilt a little bit more?
I didn't do a whole lot after we talked. I just felt so much better after that.
Okay, good.
Um,
You're just able to think through it.
yeah.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. So, how has your intuitive eating been coming? Your relationship with God, all that stuff.
Intuitive eating I feel like I'm just stuck. I
Okay,
just
stuck where?
continually overeating and I don't like it at all.
Okay, continually or regularly? Those are two different things. So,
Sorry, regularly.
okay, regularly would be every once in a while I mess up, and I do that every once in a while. And continually would mean like I can't stop eating.
No, I mean like almost every meal. Almost every time I sit down and have something, I eat more than hunger, like full.
Okay.
Super full.
Are you waiting for hunger to start?
Um, no.
Okay, so I'm just making some notes. Not waiting for hunger.
Mm.
Would you say ever or percentage of time?
I can't remember the last time I was hungry.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean a whole lot because I can't remember, what I did yesterday. So.
Okay. When you are you eating the things you feel like eating?
Um, Mostly.
Okay. And not stopping when you've had enough.
Right.
How would you say you feel when you are done eating physically? What point do you feel like, okay, now it's time to stop?
When I'm already finished. I
Finish
eat.
with a certain amount, or like the
Yeah.
amount in front of you, or you finish when you feel too full because it feels comfortable? You finish when you feel sick? What gets you
Um,
stop?
Mostly what's in front of me, and then sometimes I even go back for more, and then which at that point I am full, and then I go get more. Um,
Okay.
but most of the time I don't feel the fullness until after I've eaten what's in front of me, and then it's too late. I'm too full.
Okay, so not checking in.
Right.
Um,
Or I do check in and I still keep eating.
okay, so would you say most of the time you're not checking in, or most of the time you are and you just don't care?
Most of the time I'm not checking in.
Okay, so most of the time not checking in, and when you do, doesn't stop you.
Mm-mm.
Okay, all right. So that's pretty classical.
Mm.
Pretty classic type stuff. So there's always a reason, right? There's always a reason, and so there's something about trusting in that food, right? Right now, you're trusting the food to make you happier than not having the food. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I trust you and I trust the books and I trust what everybody says that they're.
It makes sense up here,
Yeah.
right? Right. Logically, you trust it. In your heart, though, when push comes to shove, we're just going to run to the food, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all go there sometimes. Um,
It doesn't make sense to me that it's almost every meal. Like, so basically, something is going on inside my brain all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No, but that it's not that you're thinking about things all the time. It's not that it's going on in the conscious part of your brain all the time. It's going on in the subconscious part of your brain all the time. Subconscious never turns off, ever, ever, ever. And so we can be thinking about, I'm just doing laundry, and gee, I'm having lunch, and I want more chips, right? And you may not be consciously thinking about whatever you're doing, but that subconscious works all the time. And so there's two things going on. We can focus on figuring out what's going on. We can also figure out, why do we trust the food to take care of what's going on rather than other things, right? So there's a lot of angles we can come at it with. So here's a question for you. So the lesson that I have prepared to teach for you today, and like I said, you're the only one here. It's more like a personal coaching thing. So we can do whatever works best for you. But it was all about challenging the food police, right? And the food police that are telling you, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. I thought you were dieting. Aren't you supposed to not eat that? Just out of curiosity, before we keep going and decide what direction we want to go, do you find that you have any of those types of comments going on through this process of overeating? Do you have like a lot of chatter in the back of your head?
I would say every once in a while, but I wouldn't say a lot.
All right. How about comments? Here's the thoughts that would have gone through my head. Things like, you're totally wasting this money you put out on Becky's program. You're not even doing it. Does that ever pop up? Mm-hmm. No? Okay. How about, what are some of the other ones that would come up for me? It's like, you're never going to get this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that comes up.
Yeah, that's like,
And I still, I catch myself with these thoughts, but I still have them of, I wish I were skinny. I wish I looked like her. I wish, but I do catch myself and think, no, I love myself. I love my body. I've had 4 babies with this, so I try to, I feel kind of like I'm faking it till I make it. I'm not sure if I really believe it, but I'm trying.
Okay. Totally get that. Okay. What if we were to start there? Because this is obviously I was going to say it's a belief issue, but like I said, there's layers to this. So you have the issues on both sides. You have what's causing it, like what emotion am I worrying about covering up, or what am I trying to make better with food? And then you have the, why do I believe I can't change that? Why do I believe that this is the best way to handle that? And then you also have the, how do I believe in myself enough to put in the effort to change?
Yeah.
Right? That is so freaking hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to change that belief that you can even do it in the first place. So then when it gets hard, it's like, I just don't have the energy to work on something that's futile. Mm-hmm. Right? So, perfect example. My grandbaby right now is almost 11 months old, and the house is a disaster all the time because she's at that point of, I will pull everything out of everywhere. Right? So I just have to laugh every day. My daughter sends me a picture of their entertainment center, which is tiny, but apparently it holds a lot more than it looks like, because there's Jenga blocks on the ground and every DVD is out of the box, and the diapers are everywhere, and she's in the diaper cream. It's just like this, like a tornado hit every day. Mm-hmm. So how often do you think my daughter picks that up every day?
I don't know. It depends on her personality. Yeah. every oh, okay.
After she goes to bed. Right? It's like, it's a total waste of my time to do that. So that's kind of how it feels when you don't believe you can accomplish something. It's like, logically, yes, I know everybody can do this, blah, 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 blah. It's, changing your conscious, and like logically we know it. But when your gut says, this, you're never going to get this is not going to change, why would you put in a whole ton of effort to change something that is impossible? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to bother. Like, I'm too tired. Life is hard enough already. I don't need to add one more failure on top of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it feels right now?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I do know that I've made progress there, but I still feel it. It's not as bad as it used to be,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still there.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask a couple more questions before we go on. Last week we talked about that you wanted to try to get more out of your scripture reading,
Yes.
studying. So how has that been going? What's your experience been there?
It's slow, but it's getting better. I actually took your advice and I got one of those Book of Mormon journals.
You love it?
So yeah, I haven't used it a whole lot because I just got it, but
Good.
I'm at the point it's like, well, wait, what do I write in there? Like, I'm like, it was $16. I could buy another one. So who cares what you write in there? Just
Exactly.
write.
Yeah. And only write something that is meaningful for you to remember.
Yes.
Right? Don't care about who's going to ever read it. If you're doing it, you can burn it, you can buy another, whatever.
Right.
Good. And slow is great. I think when you're trying to get meaning out of stuff, it's so much better to go slow and think about it.
Yeah.
And I wish I had brought mine in here right now, and I'd give you an example that I was thinking about you because we had just had that conversation, and I was, trying to think about how to grow my business and how to do, some other things that were frustrating for me. And it was so interesting how I started reading about Laman and Lemuel and how they were griping about building the ship and saying, you can't do this. You're an idiot, basically. And all of a sudden I could see all the people, or even just my own beliefs, telling me, you're an idiot. You can't do this. What makes you think you can do that? You don't even have the skills. You don't have the tools. And I thought, isn't that interesting? It's exactly like Laman and Lemuel. And so I outlined the whole thing, and I put next to it, there will always be voices inside or outside your head telling you you can't do what God wants you to do, And it's interesting how every day, if I'm really thoughtful about it, I can find something that applies to my life. It's almost kind of like a interesting challenge to give God. Can I find something today that actually applies to me?
Yeah.
And it can be fun. Has it made a difference yet in how you're feeling?
No, but I'm getting there, and I'm really excited. Derek and I are going to do the Self-Reliance Initiative.
Oh, which one?
The business starting and growing your business.
I'm doing that right now. I love it. That's cool. So you're going to do it with just each other?
Yeah. Well, yeah, with the group and everything.
You're going to do it at church?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm waiting for them to start a new one because I'm just doing it on my own right now.
Oh.
And Ken was just leading it, and they just finished their last group. And so he's like, you really would love this thing. So I've been doing it myself. I'm going to start with them, but it's really great.
Yeah, I'm excited. And, a lot of it, we just went to the fireside last night, and a lot of it, they talked about studying the scripture. So I'm like, oh, yes, I need this. So it just, of course, it's all working out. Heavenly Father is like, yep, see, I told you it's all, this is how it's supposed to be. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love it because it helps you see, or at least it's helping me see, that God really does want us to succeed, and he really wants us he wants us to be happy, and he wants us to overcome our challenges, and he wants to give us, every blessing he can give us. And that helps me realize, okay, this is the right path to go on. I just have to figure out which big boulders are in my way that need to stop me, that have been stopping me and that I need to get rid of.
Yeah.
So if you were to summarize for me the best knowledge that you have on what your limiting beliefs are, okay? You've had 3 months of facing them. And sometimes what I've discovered is that that's when they get the worst. So let me see if I can explain. I was listening to Think and Grow Rich with a group of people from the John Maxwell team. And it was like this deep dive. It was very intense. You're like committed to read one of the chapters, like the same chapter on persistence every day for 10 days. It's a very boring chapter. And then you're supposed to read the rest of it to keep up with the lessons. And then you're supposed to listen to like an hour and a half of their discussion on it. And, so it was just like every day. And it's all about overcoming these beliefs and believing you can accomplish and blah, blah, blah. Well, I found like everybody's on the Facebook page saying, I love this. I feel so inspired and blah, 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 blah. You know what I was feeling? Irritated, highly irritated. And I started to realize that the voices, the negative voices in my head were speaking louder. It's like, okay, normally you just resist me at this level. So we're just going to give you this level back and just make sure you keep the status quo. As soon as you start bumping the positive to this, oh, we're going to bump the negative up. Right. And so I was having like this internal fight with myself. I can do this. Shut the hell up. No, really, I can. No, it was like, you're an idiot. No, I'm not. I can do this, And after a while, it was just like, oh my gosh, I hate this book. I'm putting it down. I'm not doing it anymore. And then as I really had to, figure out how to make that not do that. And then as I was like really praying about it, saying, okay, what's going on here? Logically, I know that the teachings in this thing are true. I know it. But inside, I am just like a mess. And I had to come to realize, I still have that limiting belief, of X, Y, and Z. And it's being kicked up to a whole new notch because I'm challenging it, right? So if you look at the first 3 months of what we've been doing here, you start out really enthusiastic, a little nervous maybe, but gung-ho, we're going to do this. And we jump in and we put all this positive stuff in our head. And it's kind of a surprise that the negative voices start going, no. We have to keep you back down to the status quo. Would you say that may be similar to what you're experiencing?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I've just gotten lazy or forgotten or, went on vacation and then the whole Dawson thing and Christmas. And I feel like I just forgot everything and I'm starting over, or not starting over, but.
There is something to be said for momentum.
Yeah.
Right? There is. And it's always hard to start again, feeling like you're coming from zero. Right. Yeah. And yet, isn't it interesting? I remember a few meetings ago when you were feeling similar to this. And I'm trying to remember what exactly you did. But by the next week, like within a day or two, we were texting each other and you were doing
something. It was the challenge maybe that you had.
Yes, it was the game. It was the game. Yeah. And it was funny. There was that. And then there was another time too. But both times I remember it was like within 2 or 3 days, it was like, you know what? I feel great. And I don't know why I don't always do this. And it makes me so much happier. But when we're in that down point, it just feels like such an effort to get to 2 or 3 days in the first place.
And I've thought about that too. I'm like, I know I can do this. I've done this before. Mm-hmm. But I just don't do it.
Okay, so tell me what some of your limiting beliefs are that you're struggling with in general. What are some of the things you want to overcome?
Like, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Like, give me an example.
So for instance, I grew up very poor and I struggle to believe that I can make a good income. So I have to create like affirmations that deal with, what, there's no limit. There's no limit on me for what I can make, simple things. Or maybe you have a limiting belief that you'll never be able to stop overeating, or a limiting belief that I'll never have a close relationship with my kids or with my husband. Or it could be any of those negative things that go through your head when you're depressed, when you just feel like it's just not worth the bother.
Okay. So I feel like I will never be able to slow down. And in turn, I will never be able to feel fullness when I am really full, until it's too late because I eat so fast.
Okay.
Let's see. There's probably lots and lots of things that have to do with Dawson.
Okay, think about those.
So yesterday, my controlling came up again. Like he's doing much better. The doctor released him. He's supposed to go to school tomorrow, but I could not get him to go to church yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to remind myself that I can't control him. Remember, he's 17 and he's making his own choices. He's not 5 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can't make him go to church. But during sacrament yesterday, I just cried and cried, just thinking about that. It's just so hard that I can't make him go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's hard. So tell me about that. Tell me why not being able to control him to go to church hurts.
Yeah, and I thought about that too. You were in my head, like, asking questions like, why does that matter if he goes to church? Why does that matter?
Well, and let me ask it differently. Why does it hurt that he
Why does
doesn't
it
choose to go?
hurt?
What does it mean?
No, I think because I think he should go.
Why?
Um,
What does it mean that he doesn't want to go?
um, I don't know. I don't think that he doesn't, well, I don't know, like believe or have a testimony. I think he does. So I don't know if I worry about that part. Um, I don't know.
What does it mean? If Dawson doesn't go to church, then what?
Then he's, I don't know, disobeying. He's not respecting our wishes. He's not receiving the blessings. I don't know. I'm just making these things up.
That's okay. Keep going.
Um, what will people say about us? The bishop's son.
So it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
What does it make you feel about yourself?
uh, I don't know. I believe that I don't know where these things come from, but I know that we taught him. He, was like, I don't feel bad about it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't feel like it's my fault because I know he has
Mhm.
agency.
Okay.
It's just a hard transition from, being able to make his choices and then not.
So
Um,
if you could make the choices for him, what would be better?
well, I know that's not right either because he needs to learn. Um, but obviously, I would choose for him to go to church
Okay, why?
because that's what we do.
Why?
Because
Just
I like church. I like to go. I like to learn. I like to see people. I like to feel the spirit. I like to take the sacrament. I I grow and I learn and I feel closer to God. So maybe I guess I want that for him. I don't know.
okay, so you want him to feel closer to God, right? And why do you want him to feel closer to God?
Because that's what I like.
Why do
So
you
he did too.
But why do you like it? Why do you go to church? I mean, you
Mm.
feel closer to God and that helps you how?
Because it helps me get through trials. It helps me feel better about myself. It helps me to know that he loves me. That I don't know.
And you want that for your son? Do you want him to know that he's loved?
Mm-hmm.
Does he know that right now?
I don't know.
Not really, right? And there's nothing more painful than watching your children. Like, if you had him as a new baby and somebody started smoking next to him and blowing smoke in his face, you'd be furious, right? And you'd do everything to protect that from happening. Then they get older and they stick a cigarette in their own mouth and you want to just punch them in the face. Like, what in the world? Like, it's like, I've been protecting you all this time. How come you can't protect yourself, right? And spiritually, it's kind of the same thing. Look, I want all these great things for you. I've worked my butt off for the last 17 years to make sure that you have every great thing. And now you're gonna deprive yourself of that? Why would you do that? Right? So what kind of feelings does that bring up?
Frustration, sadness, anger, disappointment, confusion. I can't think of any other ones.
Oh, don't forget fear, my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Fear. Oh my gosh, how long are they going to do this for? Right? Are they going to raise my grandkids this way? Are they going to get into worse trouble? Like, what's the worst that can, oh my gosh, if they're doing this, will they do that? If he's dumb enough to try this, who's to say he's not dumb enough to try that? Right? Constant fear of where it's going. Excuse me. Now think about the situation with just Dawson. That doesn't even include any other challenges you have going on in your life. How often does that exist in your life right now?
Well, daily. I don't know how many times a day, but all the time.
It's constant. It's literally every second of every hour of every day of every week of every month of every year, right? and how long has it been going on now?
Since he was 2.
Has he been a struggle since he was 2?
Uh-huh.
Some kids are, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've been worrying about him now for 15 years.
Can you hold on real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't do anything about that right now. Send him to the bathroom. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
No problem. Excuse me. So you've been worrying about him for 15 years straight. Does the worry go away because it's time to eat? Does it go away because it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Nope.
No. Does it go away because you're full? No. So the challenge that you're having, sorry, pause. I'm on with the client.
My apologies. You just put this in meeting right now. I didn't realize you were home. Bye.
Bye. Have a good time.
Good.
So I guess what I'm trying to point out to you and help you see is that the emotional pain we try to numb with food is there constantly. There is no, well, I was fine. I don't know why I was overeating. There was nothing. Because we're so used to this underlying level of anxiety and fear and sadness and disappointment and confusion, and that it's just become life because we don't know what else to do about it. It's not like you can say, I'm just not going to worry about Dawson today, right? That doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And so we can develop greater faith to combat that, and we can find greater joy in the gospel to deal with that. But those are the things that can actually take care of the anxiety, the frustration, the embarrassment, the disappointment. Food never takes care of anxiety, disappointment, fear, anger, depression. It masks it, it covers it, and it does a pretty good job temporarily. Otherwise, we wouldn't use it, right? Nothing will make you forget your stubborn kids like a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Sorry, that's just how it is, right? Nothing physical anyway. But so number one, give yourself a break, because you're using something that works. And you're using something that doesn't hurt other people. You're not going around yelling and screaming at people. You're not turning to drugs and avoiding your family. You're choosing a pretty comparatively harmless way of dealing with your anxiety and stress and anger and frustration and all that. So the real question is, how do you remind yourself? How do you remind yourself on a daily basis what really works and what really doesn't? So that you can go, oh yeah, I'm doing it again. I kind of forgot. I felt like food was going to kind of make me feel better, and it just never does. Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, what will actually make me feel better? All right, let's do that. Right? So we remember, and then chances are you'll forget again. I mean, I don't know anybody who, I certainly don't do it perfectly. And so the biggest trick is, how do we develop skills that help us remember again quicker and quicker and quicker, right? And get better and better and better at reminding ourselves of what we already know to be true.
Yeah.
Right? So that would be my goal, is to say, okay, how do I help Mitzi so that when garbage hits the fan, whether it's consciously and you see it happening right before your eyes and it's driving you crazy, or whether it's that low underlying level that's always there. Number one, how can I help her turn to the ways that will help that? Turn to the things that will actually bring some peace. And number two, how do I help her remember quickly what those things are? Right? So we want to develop some tools there.
Okay.
So if you were, I'm writing this down. I'm saying, the challenge is really twofold. First of all, realizing what works and what doesn't. And you've had great success there. You remember, I know I sent you that survey. Have you? I don't think you've had a chance to do it.
I did.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry. I need to go in and look at it. And you've had great experience in the last 3 months in experiencing that enough to have some truth in there, right? To say, okay, I know this actually makes me feel great, and I know that this actually makes me feel like crap. So you have faith in the program, and that's what you're saying. I have faith in the book, I have faith in the things we're learning.
Yeah.
So now the question is, how do we remember that? And how do we remember it at a gut level, a real feeling level that helps us want to choose that? And not because we have to, not because we're going to be overweight, not because somebody's going to judge us, but just because we realize, okay, I actually want to be happy, and this isn't making me happy. I need to turn to what actually makes me happy and away from what makes me unhappy. So affirmations are a way of doing that. That's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. They can be very helpful with that. What else can be helpful with that?
Well, the game was helpful.
Hey, good. The game.
But only just for a little bit.
Why was it helpful?
Because it was written down. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I was going to text you, so I was accountable because I knew I would have to report to you.
Okay. So it helps you focus on the positive, right? Yeah. It helps you, none of it says, every step does not say, don't do this. There's nothing in there that focuses on the negative. It's always, can you do this one positive thing?
Yeah.
Right? So it's talking about baby steps, one small thing. And it's amazing how quickly one small thing makes you suddenly feel a little better. And then turns into 2 small things, 3 small things. And the next thing you know, you're like, okay, I feel great again. It's amazing how fast that happens, right? So that's what the game is for. Good. What are some other things in life that can help you remember?
I don't know.
Well, let's think about the church answers. If I called on you in Sunday school and you had no idea what the question was, what would you say? But you had to fake an answer.
Pray.
Okay.
Read your scriptures.
Pray. Read your scriptures. What else? Go to the temple.
Oh yeah, go to church, go to the temple. Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking like in the moment of when I want something to eat, like go to church isn't going to help me.
Right. But the reason I bring these things up is because people think sometimes, well, if I pray, read my scriptures, and go to temple, go to church, then I'll magically have this great power or answers. But the point is, they're kind of like, so reading your scriptures is discovering the truth, right? Reading your scriptures, you're supposed to be learning truth from that. And then saying, oh yeah, okay, so how do I apply that to my life? Right? So if Laman and Lemuel are constantly trying to tear down Nephi, should Nephi have let that stop him? No, of course not. It's easy to see that. Nephi, yeah, he did great anyway, and he didn't even know how to make tools, but he figured it out, and he asked the Lord, and he went and did it. And I bet that was really hard for him. So, all right, what can I do today? What tools do I need to build? And how do I need to ignore these people over here? And so it's giving you those truths that help you remember, right? They help you remember, oh yeah, this was a distraction. Here's what really makes me happy. Here's what the direction I really want to go, right? And praying is your way of discovering what is true. And it's great because it's even more specific for you. So that's where you can say, okay, Heavenly Father, I'm really struggling with this. Here's my idea for today. What do you think of this? And, that gives you more truth that you're holding on to. Well, all an affirmation is picking a little piece of truth that you can memorize real quick, one that's really crucial for you, and repeating it over and over and over and reminding yourself over and over and over. So if you have an affirmation that says, every area of my life is abundant, right? That's one that a lot of people I know use because they either fear having money or they feel like they don't have good relationships or whatever. So if that one thing resonates with that person, everything in my life, every area of my life is abundant. Then if they know it on a logical basis and they can say, okay, I do know that's true. Then when they don't feel that it's true, when they're feeling like, I'm never going to get this, and I never have good friends, nobody likes me, if they can say, you know what, every area of my life is abundant. That's not meant to trick them. It's meant to help them remember, okay, back when I really knew this was true, okay, yes, I do have this really good friend that cares about me. Yeah, okay, yeah, I have a better than average marriage. Yes, we have enough money. Yeah, And so it reminds us of the truth. It's just a way to quickly bring those truths back to our head as fast as we can. And because it's short and memorable, we don't have to go grab a journal and spend the next hour trying to remember it. We just kind of compacted that into, oh, here's a short, quick way I can remember, right?
So how do I come up with those affirmations?
That is a challenge sometimes. For me, it's this last time of trying to come up with some took me a few days because first I had to identify what are the gut level things that are still holding me back, right? The gut level. And to me, they always come back to my childhood and the garbage I learned in childhood. It's like I heal it at one level, and then I'm like I'm a Vidalia onion that you just keep having to do the next level and next level. So you have to figure out those limiting beliefs, which is why I first asked you up here, what are some of those? I say up here because I'm looking at the notes.
Yeah.
What are the limiting beliefs? So one of yours is that I'll never be able to slow down and feel fullness. I'll never be able to do this intuitive eating thing, right? So what do you know for sure? What do you know, really know from your experience of doing it well in the past, what would you tell somebody if they say, you're never going to be able to do this? And you're trying to say, well, wait a minute, here's something I know about that.
I can do this because I have done it, and I feel so good when I do it.
Okay, I feel so good when I listen to my body. It's not a lie. It's not something you're trying to brainwash yourself into believing. You actually know that for a fact, right?
Yep.
I feel so good when I listen to my body. That is a great affirmation, right? You can say it while you're getting ready in the morning. You can say it while you're driving in the car. You can say it when suddenly you feel like eating a quarter pounder with cheese, but you're not hungry yet. And you can say, you know what? I feel really good when I listen to my body. So I'm getting close to hunger. I'm not quite there. I'm going to run this other 2 errands, and I bet I'll be hungry by then. I'm going to come back and get a quarter pounder with cheese, and then I'll listen to my body. And then the next time when you're eating and you do overeat and you don't feel great, you can say, you know what? I feel so good when I listen to my body. I'm going to try really hard next time to listen to my body. And then,
does it ever get to a point where you're just saying it, but you're not really listening because you're saying it over and it just gets kind of old and it's like
I think so. I think anything is like that. I think everything in life is like that. So you use it, and as I would say, give yourself like a 30-day challenge to say, like, I'm going to get this in my head if it kills me for the next 30 days. And even if I'm reciting it sometimes and I don't even mean it, I'm just going to, I've got to get to where I remember this truth. And then if it starts losing meaning, think of another truth, right? What's another way that is helpful for you at that time, right? So just think of little short truths. So for example, let's take on Dawson for a minute. I think maybe I'm assuming, but with my experience with my kids, I know that nothing will rip my heart out like my kids. Absolutely nothing. And so I know that it's been, how old is he now? Teenager. It's been 4 years since my son left the church in March. And that's still the number one thing I pray about. It's still the number one thing I fast about. It's still the number one thing I go to the temple and put names on the roll for. It's always my number one thing. So even though I don't have a lot of constant grief over or whatever, it's always there. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about, what do you know about this whole situation with Dawson that is the opposite of the fears you have? So we talked about, you're afraid that, he won't ever feel close to God, that he won't have that to help him through his trials, that he won't feel that love, that he won't, so that's what all the fears are coming from, and all the hurt and the pain. So what would Christ tell you if he were here that would actually bring you peace?
He would tell me that he's got this. He knows Dawson. He loves Dawson, and he's going to take care of him.
All right. So he knows Dawson, loves Dawson, will care for Dawson, right? So you can take that one phrase and play with it until it fits exactly, it feels right to you, right? You can say it any way you want. You could say just that. Okay, Christ knows Dawson. He loves Dawson. He will help Dawson. It could be just that. Or it could be, I believe in God's plan, not my plan. That was a big one for me. It was like, okay, yes, my plan was that my son would do things this way. Well, guess what? I'm not God. And I'm trying to trust God enough to say, fine, your plan must be better. I'm not seeing it, but I'm just going to believe it for now, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would have to be like, okay, his plan, not my plan. And it would just make me just take a deep breath, just leave it alone, let it be what it is. And that brought me a little bit of peace, right? I would say in the last 4 years, the greatest thing that has come from all my fasting and all my prayers and all my temple attendance and all that was focused on trying to help my son. I believe, yes, is it helping him? Will it help him? I have faith it will, but I know it's helped me. Mm-hmm. I know it's helped me find a lot more peace in the whole situation. I don't sit up at night and cry anymore. Even if I know what he's doing is not helpful, you know, but I'm not, my life isn't panicking anymore. There was a long time there where I just cried all the time. Right. But it's brought me peace. So that's a great one. That's a simple statement about the situation with Dawson. And like I said, you can think about these, pray about these, journal them, try them different ways. You can take scriptures that mean something to you that apply directly to these situations and say, you know, that will be my affirmation. So for instance, in the business self-reliance book, you'll see right at the beginning, there's a quote, and I just latched right onto it, where Christ says, something like, I've come that they may have life and that they might have it more abundantly. And I love that, because it was like, okay, I struggle with that feeling of scarcity from the way I grew up. And it's like, no, God wants me to have an abundant life. So in my affirmations, I try to use the word abundant, right? And I think of that scripture, okay, he wants me to have an abundant life. Why would I deny myself anything but an abundant life? Because that's what he wants, right? And so if you find something that just speaks to your heart and it's the truth, and you know it's the God-given truth, find a way to shorten it, make it memorable to you, make it so that it actually invokes some sort of feeling for you. There's a problem with taking somebody else's affirmation. It's just sometimes it just feels fake and foreign. Yeah. But it's okay to take somebody else's and then be like, yeah, I like it better worded this way, or it's more meaningful to me this way. And just come up with I feel good when I listen to my body. That's true. That's just a good way to remind myself, I'm about to eat one more homemade caramel and my body really doesn't want, okay. I do feel good when I listen to my body. Do I want to feel good? And sometimes you'll be like, nah, screw it. I don't want to feel good. And other times you'll be like, yeah, this really won't make me happy. I'll wait, you know, sure. Or I'll put this down now, but practice ways of helping yourself remember as quickly as you can. And just like last week, forgive yourself for being human, girl.
Yeah.
You are human. We all are. You're no different than anybody else. We all forget.
Right.
And we run to the things that make us feel safe and secure, even if we know they're stupid.
Yeah.
It's kind of how that goes.
Okay.
So what are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking that I really like that affirmation that I feel good when I listen to my body. So I'm going to take that challenge. 30 days seems like a long time for me, so I'm going to try it for a week.
Okay, let's just go from this week to next Monday.
Yeah.
I love that. And you can be thinking about it if you, you know, if there are other areas of your life like Dawson or work or whatever basic things cause you emotional angst, come up with a little something for that too. And remind, you know, maybe you can say them. They tell you to say them out loud in front of the mirror every morning and every night. You may feel like you have to whisper it in your bathroom for a while. I don't want anybody else judging me for it. But I like to say it out loud in my car. I like to think about, you know, whenever I get a chance, it's like, okay, I'm going to get this in my head no matter what. And when I do, it works. When I get tired of it and I don't replace it and I get caught up in the other stuff, I can find myself forgetting. And then I just have to be like, oh yeah, time to remember again. Okay. Okay. So goals for this week, then I'm having that, you're going to do affirmations. Why don't you, okay. So we know you're going to do the affirmation about, I feel so good when I listen to my body, right? Mm-hmm. Any others you want to work on and then let me know what they are later? Or you don't have to tell me what they are. It's none of my business if you don't want to.
No, I like the one about Dawson too. I might fine tune that one.
Yeah. Okay. And then if you have like that little thought that says, oh, here's another area that's hard, see if you can come up with one for that.
Okay.
And you're going to work on them for a week. Do we want to text each other how it's going?
Sure.
Okay. We can play the game anytime you want to play the game. I think that's kind of fun. I kind of have this little thought in my head. It would be really fun sometime to have some sort of a contest with that. Be like the first person to like 1,000 points or 500 points or something. I have to think
It'd
about
be fun when we have a group.
Yeah, have some sort of a competition, or just say anytime you get to this, like I thought it'd be really fun if I ordered like, water bottles with the From Food to Faith logo or something, like when you hit 500, you tell me and I'll mail you one, or something fun like that.
Yeah.
But okay, so text me.
Is
What?
that on your website in the archive stuff?
Let me double check, but it should be on our lesson page. And are you okay if I put this on our stuff on the page?
Yeah.
I do think what you're going through is completely exactly what everybody struggles with. Okay, here we go. Archive meetings. I have to log in like a member so I can see if it really shows for you.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I am not seeing it here. I'm going to put it at the top of the page. So when we're done here, I'll upload this video and I'll take the game and I'm going to put it on, how the videos all go down the left side of the screen. I'll just put it on the top right so you can like always find it at the top.
Okay, cool.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, good. That'll be something fun for me to do. And and text me tonight. Let me know how that's working for you. I want to hear, because I'm excited to hear that first moment you start to feel a little better.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah. I'm excited too.
All right, one step at a time. And I still have time if there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, I need to go too.
Okay, I apologize again for that doctor appointment.
Oh, no worries.
All right, sounds good. I look forward to hearing from you tonight then.
Thanks.
Okay, talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.